Ever since Drake won his lawsuit against UMG that would eventually lead to the end of freedom of speech, I now have the power and the ability to hear what I want and what I don't want in the palm of my hands. See, after the result of that case, a couple of tech bros from San Francisco came up with the amazing stfu. Inspired by the amazing Adam Sandler's movie Click, I now have the power to mute any. Hold on, this is look like it's getting good. Let me hear what he got to say. I'm the real Reed. You sold. I'm Reed. No, I came up with you in my head. You are. See, currently this fool is trying to argue with me about who's the real Reed and who's the real Soul. See, I'm Reed. He's Soul. This fool can't even read. I'm the business. I do the thumbnails. I do all the algorithm stuff, come up with the titles. I do all the hard work. This fool just sits around all day and comes up with ideas. It's ridiculous. If you want the, hold on, I'm gonna mess with him one more time and then I'm gonna tell you how much this costs and where you can pick it up at. I'm the real Reed. I'm the real Reed. You a fake. You are Soul. I'm Reed. You a figment of my imagination. You ain't. If you go to all Wahlbergs and all Polywags, you'll be able to get this for $1.99. And if you use code READMYSOUL, you can get an amazing 15% off. Get you the stfu today. If your name is Patrick Starr and you live under a rock, you may not be aware that there was a battle that happened in hip-hop this last few weeks. Joey Badass took on the West Coast by himself, and from what it's looking like outside, he won. Joey was battling Daylight. Joey was battling Tom a Dozen, somebody from his own city. Joey was battling Ray Vaughn. Joey was battling Reason. It was a 20v1. I mean, there's still diss tracks coming out right now, and even though I think Joey handled himself very well, especially as opposed to the way he was coming at it earlier this year, my favorite part of this battle was Word to Mother by Daylight, and more specifically the video Word to Mother by Daylight and the beginning of it.
Which battle are you looking forward to the most?
Sure, everybody's excited to see what Daylight's going to do. You know?
Now, if you're unaware, this clip is Aubrey Graham, the person that is suing UMG because he's losing sleep and his family ain't safe. He's suing UMG. I don't know the actual specifics of the case as much. You should definitely check out Absolutely. She's been covering this case, and I'm pretty sure there's some other content creators out there covering this case. But I'm glad that Daylight started the video with this clip because it shows you that Drake was a part of the mudslinging. Drake was a part of the community. Drake has had multiple run-ins with the battle rap community. He actually promoted and hosted his own event called To Death Do Us Part with the URL.
Coming to the stage first is that
Drake has been a part of the disrespect. Drake knows exactly what the culture is about. Drake knows exactly what battle rap is. So for him to be suing UMG, which is double speak, he really wants to sue Kendrick, but he's trying to shape it as he's trying to save the industry. He's trying to save the music industry.
I'm gonna sue!
No, he's double speak. He's a narcissist, so he's gonna make it seem as though he's trying to help the music industry, but really is personal. But he really wants to be suing Kendrick, but you know, that would even look weaker than suing UMG. My point to say all of this is people don't understand how deadly and how detrimental this lawsuit is. If Drake wins this lawsuit, or even if he loses and he appeals and he takes it to the appellate court, then he takes it to the circuit court, and then he takes it to the Supreme Court, this can end freedom of speech, especially when it comes to hip hop. Hip hop is rooted in freedom of speech. Music, art, expression, you know, being an author, being a journalist, it's rooted in freedom of speech. And if Drake potentially wins this case, he can end freedom of speech. As you saw in my intro, I was being a little bit jovial, but to me, this is the start of the Matrix. This is the start of what we've seen in movies and shows like Black Mirror, where you just mute somebody. This is the start of it.
You ever been blocked?
I've had enough, Matthew. It's done. Not this time.
This administration that we currently have, they are not your friend. They have positioned themselves as for freedom fighters and things like that, but all they do is take away your rights. That's what this administration is about. They want to take away freedom of speech. They want to take away freedom of reach. If you notice, net neutrality, That was a big thing maybe a few years back. It kind of got quiet, and then you started seeing this subscription model. Then you started seeing this play to pay method on all social media. When they couldn't basically throttle bandwidth, you should definitely look up net neutrality. Because they couldn't throttle certain things that paid, they just turned their own social media platforms into play to pay. So a lot of times if you're on Instagram, if you're on these certain websites, Twitter has adopted this model now. You have to pay to boost your reach. And that's basically what it's become after net neutrality got squashed. So you got to understand, conservatives are trying to limit your ability to use your best asset. I always say this, your best and your biggest asset is freedom of speech. And conservatives do all they can to strip your rights and make it seem as though they're freedom. Fascism does not want you to have freedom of speech because fascism doesn't want to be questioned. And what we're seeing here, if Drake wins, we could eventually see the end of freedom of speech. So that was my favorite part of the battle. I personally saw right through it and saw the bigger picture. To me, all of this was a display to Drake to show him that this is the culture. Nobody's suing. Have you noticed that nobody's suing? It has really got sticky. I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of over it personally. I think that Joey handled himself really well, and I think he's the winner. I think there's a few winners here. I think Joey won because he said he was the king of New York, and he kind of proved it. He had people from his own city coming at him. Shout out to Dama Dozen. He just released a dope project, but he was coming at him. Joey was fighting everybody, right? Joey was battling everybody. People in New York was like, "How? We don't care about what he's saying. He's not the king. How you gonna be going for so long? You the king?" I think there were a bunch of different winners here. And when I saw that, it made me really think about like the ramifications of what would happen if Drake wins this lawsuit. Freedom of speech is chopped. Trust me, the Supreme Court, if they get this, they will find a way. They will find a way. They will make it about this, and then they'll find a way to cut it, and take away freedom of speech in some type of way. And, they always have this freedom of speech, freedom of reach thing, which, I totally understand. But, a lot of what media was built off of public money. A lot of the cell towers and a lot of the radio towers and things like that, they were built off of public money. And then just like everything, it goes private. We're looking at the privatization of America. Once speech becomes private, it's going to be ridiculous. And I don't even know what that concept looks like. But the closest thing I can get to it is having a button where people can literally mute you in reality. Forget about battle rap. Battle rap is the least of your worries. You will lose your freedom of speech completely. Not just rap. I'm talking about artists. They'll lose freedom to make, because speech will then be conveyed into art, into, paintings. It will literally bleed through everything. You got to understand, this administration is doing a good job of making you feel as though it's for the common man, but it's not. We are seeing fascism. They call it socialism for the rich, a technocracy. If you listen to guys like Bernie Sanders, Richard Wolff, Chris Hudgens, they have been telling you this for years, that this is what is going on. They're trying to strip you of your rights, strip you of your freedoms. So Aubrey doing this is just, this is like the beginning of the Matrix. So this battle to me, I always like to look at the macro. The micro is, a bunch of cannon fodder, people beefing, then it turns into a coast war, then people get disrespectful, then it goes left, and then it's not fun no more. But for me, the bigger picture of this, that's always what I'm trying to do with my content. Make people look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture here is the end of freedom of speech. With all that's going on in the media, what's all that going on in hip hop, people have totally forgot about that. But that's the worst thing possible. This lawsuit needs to get more attention. And thank you to ABSA and thank you to all those people who've been breaking down the lawsuit, because you have to keep this in the media, because this lawsuit is extremely important. And you can't just let this fade to the side and, we don't care about that no more. No, the decision of this case is extremely important for hip hop, for all artists in general, for content creators. Everybody should be paying attention to this, because what Drake is doing, it's so MAGA, it's so right wing, it's so conservative, it's crazy, and he's double speaking. He wants to sue Kendrick, but he can't, because he knows that's going too far. So he frames it as he's trying to be the savior of the community, when it's so self-serving. I'm sorry to just bring Drake up, but when I saw this part of the battle, it just sent off alert signals to, it's like this dude used to like the mudslinging. He was all over battle rap. Oh yeah, ooh, you got to battle surf first, all types of stuff.
You gotta be surf first before you come to
He's very pivotal in the battle rap community, and kudos to him. He did it because he knew what he was doing. Drake is a very, very calculated individual, but now he can potentially ruin the battle rap community in general. Imagine if people start suing after battles. Now you got to sign NDAs. You can't say this, you can't say that. We're already seeing that in battle rap. We're already seeing that in battle rap. I'm pretty sure Geechee Gotti was in a world of trouble, but did somebody sue? People have been being offered NDAs now in battle rap, and they still go out there and say things anyway. Is anybody suing? No. All of this battle happened. All of this beefing happened. A lot of the angles that the West was taking, they always like to get disrespectful. They always like to take it left, no matter what. That's just how the West get down, more specifically LA. Even still, nobody suits. This case is extremely important, and we have to pay attention to it. And if you ask me, Drake, because he's doing this, he's taking the biggest L of all time in hip hop. So even if you say Joey won, Ray won, Daylight won, whoever won, the fans definitely won. But the biggest loss of all time is still Drake. And this battle proves it. Nobody sued. Get in the booth.
And if you don't sit your goddamn ass pistol grip chin down somewhere.
We got the same 24. What you mad for? Shout out to the West. Shout out to the East. Shout out to the South. Shout out to hip hop. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I release a video. Donate to this Cash App link if you want to help the channel. The best way to help this channel and to help yourself is to become a member of the channel. You get all different types of perks. You can hit the link in the description, or if the join option is available, you can hit that and become a member of the Good Readers Club. You get all this dope content first, and sometimes if you don't see me posting, I definitely fed my members. So hey, listen, y'all be blessed, y'all be safe, read my soul. Out. Peace. What are you looking at? What are you, what? Why are you not looking at me? Look at me. Yo, what are you doing? Look at, bro. Why are you not? Yo, see, this is the stuff I'm talking about. You get a